Okay, my opponent from the previous game is back for more. I've got white this time, and our ratings have changed. I'm 10 points closer. And he's back to his old ways of starting off with the B pawn. Okay. And you're going to give it to me, I'm going to take it. But then when he plays D5, I start really thinking about this position as what do I actually want? And I like when my opponents play creatively because it gives you a little opportunity to get off the beaten path and test your merits as a chess player. Because when you memorize a bunch of theory, like I do, especially as an openings author, I don't have to think a lot in the opening. So this type of creative thing that I haven't studied, I really begin to enjoy it because I can see how accurate I am compared to the computer. And that's one of the things I take pride in as a chess player is my accuracy. So seeing how I handle this position or how bad the computer hates my moves. So I go knight f3 because I want to stop e5, get some control over the center. Knight f6. And the engine liked e3 here with the idea of some trades and then d4. And I look at this position and I'm like, really? This is what you like best? Because this guy looks really silly. And I know we're up a pawn and everything, but what is the clear plan other than I'm up a pawn? Well, me being me, I'm like, all right, let's do a7 because if he takes on a6, it's with a piece that is going to get developed. Me going a7 puts his rook on this kind of awkwardish square. And I'm going to go g3. And what ends up happening is we get a position that is more similar to, say, a Catalan than a Binko Gambit style position where I don't really have weak pawns on the queen side that can be exploited. So he goes c5, and in this position, I look at it, and I say to myself, all right, if he plays c4, is that the end of the world? No. I'm going to go bishop g5 and keep the pressure on here. h6, you don't like the pressure, I understand. Knight c3, already eyeing the idea of knight b5. You traded the bishop pair. Getting it back is not a bad deal. Knight b5 in between. Takes, takes. Takes, again, making sure e5 doesn't come under favorable circumstances. fc1, everybody's being invited to the party. Rook c7 with the pin. Definitely could have done better with knight e5. And then we've got the outside passer. So rook c7, and after queen d8, I am just slowly uncoiling here because I feel like my opponent isn't doing much to try to stop my ideas. And good question. If black decides to grab on b2, what is the plan? Well, notice the awkward nature of black's pieces. A bishop on e8, a knight on b8, etc. We got a runner, and he's going to go. That's the plan. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want to do. After knight d4, he decides to go bishop d7 again, though. And if you didn't want the b pawn, you know what's better than one passer that's very difficult to stop? Two passers that are very difficult to stop. So let's just get involved in this. Knight b3, protect your assets. Queen d6, protect the b pawn, make the pin, hit the e pawn, do a lot of things. Happy to trade. B pawn's hit, let's defend that. Trading is fine, we're up material, we got two outside passers. Knight c5. He doesn't want to trade, I understand. I play e3 simply to make sure that the pawn's not going anywhere. Probably better is just capturing the d5 pawn immediately. But after takes, takes, rook d1. My FM opponent, again, who's got an affinity to touch his b-pawn, decided he had had enough and resigned. And again, it's a good question. And let me hop into the database real quick and see the best way to handle this. Taking is good, and after a6, b takes a6, bishop takes a6 is normally the move, where white, I guess, backdoors into a pseudo Binko gambit. I say this because the c-pawn is still on the board. So I'm not sure what the classification would be, but as we see, there's 2 games in the database. We've got an Ivanov with white in 2004 against Perez, and that line looks pretty good to me. I mean, black doesn't have any central presence and only has moved 1 pawn. Just feels all wrong for him. That'll do it for this one.